Coach, what's going on, man? The month of June wasn't so great to us, I would think. But I think that the way that we lost, I'm not going to call it graceful, but it wasn't bad. There were like last-minute lapses, very small times of lapses in, I think, mentality just for a little bit of time. Now you're going on the road for 3 tough ones. We know how this league could be, and we've done a lot of work to get to a great point in the standings where the next 3 games it could fluctuate things really, you know what I mean? So how are you instilling in your team how important these next 3 games are, but also not add enough pressure where things get too crazy for them mentally?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the games are important because I think everybody in the league sees that Leagues Cup break as a natural sort of marker in the season, in the sense of you then focus on Leagues Cup and then you've got almost the run-in to the end of the season. And I think the only way that we have to approach it is to improve the performances from the previous games, right? The Austin game was vastly improved when we look at the Nashville and the LA game, right? You know, we dominate the game, we control the game, we showed a real maturity in when to have the ball and when to go on counter-attack. We created many chances. We just fall the wrong side of the result, but ultimately that is the most important thing, the result, right? So we have to take the positives out of the performance and we have to improve in the areas where we don't get the result, and ultimately that is executing in the final third. We missed the chances that we created and we gave away 2 moments that in this league you get punished in, and you know we have to fix that fast. That is, whether it is understanding, whether it is mentality, you know, I think this group is in a good place. You know, I said previous to the homestand, after the Nashville and LA losses, I said to the team, we have to go back to back in the 2 home games, and the team delivered. And now after the Austin game, you know, we have to, for ourselves, right, we should win the Austin game, and we know that. So we have to take that mentality and that hunger into the Chicago game and build off the performance, but execute in the moments that are going to be critical in gaining the result.
Justin?
Hi, Nick. Justin Egan, the outfield. Sports writer Bill Simmons has this idea he calls the Patrick Ewing theory. I'll save you the trauma of being raised a Knicks fan in the 1990s, but it goes something like a star athlete who never leads his team to like any meaningful success. When they leave their team begins to exceed expectations without that player. So I bring that up because the Chicago Fire, when Shaqiri left to the Euros, they went on a 4-game unbeaten streak. They've won all their home games since he left. I don't know how much you subscribe to that theory, but the Fire do seem like that they are more dynamic, especially after inserting Brian Gutierrez at the 10 role and changing to that 3-5-2. So what do you think we can expect from the Fire without Shaqiri?
Well, listen, I understand the theory, but the one thing I won't do is disrespect Shaqiri. He's a top player and showed that by going away in the Euros and playing for a top team in Switzerland. So I think Chicago Fire are really well coached. I think when you look at what Frank Klopas has done is in organising the team, in setting the team up, whether it is a back 4 and a back 5, they're vastly improved this year than they have been, in my opinion. They're a top team. They've improved the squad, whether it is Gutierrez in the 10 or Kuipers in the 9. They're a difficult team, and you know, going on the road in MLS is difficult enough, but when you're playing against a team that is in form, I watched the San Jose game and I thought they were unlucky not to get, you know, the result that they wanted. And you know, I say all the time, we have to prepare properly in these games because, you know, the parity of the league means that if you're not at your best, you look at the Austin game for us. You know, I feel like it was a positive performance and I feel like we were the better team, but we fell the wrong side of the result. And I say again, the result is the only thing that matters. So we have to execute better, and we have to make sure in the Chicago game that we build on the performance, but we make sure that we execute in the moments.
Chris?
Hey, Coach. Chris Campbell from the outfield. I'm just wondering if you can give us all an update health-wise. You know, the team's had some recent injuries with Burke, with Kevin, as well as with Tayvon and Maxi. Just give us a kind of availability update. Thanks.
Maxi Moralez is pushing hard and is really close. We have the only reason I don't confirm is because we have one more day. So I'll allow the performance team to take that extra day, but he'll likely be fit. Burke Reeser is fit, trained today. Kevin O'Toole and Tayvon Gray are really pushing hard, and I was really pleased in what I saw outside. I haven't had the medical update yet. I will go and get that now this afternoon. But from what I saw outside, it looked like they will be in full training tomorrow. So we're in a good place, but we have a really, really busy schedule in the sense of travel to Chicago, then back to New York, and then we'll travel on Atlanta, Orlando. So we'll have to make some really strategic decisions around Tayvon and Kevin and Maxi and Burke, just to make sure that the team is healthy to go 3 in a week.
Michael?
Nick, Mike Hanna from Blue City Radio. Thanks for the time. Just to tie on to Chris's question, you didn't mention Christian McFarland in that list. I know he missed the last game. But I do want to ask you a question about a comment you made to Glenn Fritz during one of the interviews he does for the pregame, where you talked about, I don't have the exact quote, but you saying something about like 90% gut and 10% data, or 95% gut and instinct and 5% data in making your decisions. And I'm curious if you can elaborate on that when it comes to something like reacting to an injury, like in the Austin game, when you had to make some decisions about what to do with Kevin O'Toole and Tayvon Gray.
Yeah, I think ultimately we track the data, and we know that the load is high on these guys because they're playing a lot of football in a short space of time. But I think that was my frustration when Kevin O'Toole goes down, right? Because the feeling was from the group, the support staff, that Kevin O'Toole was in a better place than he was, and he wasn't. So we have to fix those things. Tayvon is a real unfortunate one because it's an impact that ends up taking him out the game. But we have to execute in those moments. Christian McFarland is actually fit. He's been in the training all week, and it was a small issue. The problem we have with MLS is the schedule is so brutal that you're always falling on the side of, is this the right game or the next game based off travel and climate and temperature? And, this is why this league is so exciting and so unique, right? That whether the data says this or that, and whether your gut is this or that, ultimately, you never know what you're going to get delivered in the game. You look at the likes of Malachi and those type of injuries. So I will always make decisions based on my gut because I think that is the right way to be. But of course, they're informed by not only the knowledge and experience of my staff, but also the data that we use in our analysis department.
George, you have another one?
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.